Do you know what your partner's up to when you're away and they're all alone?
No, what?
They're listening to the Screw podcast, of course.
What's that?
Sit back, relax, and listen.
Sneaking in the back door with dirty Maxine. So your mother wants to know what all the space on the jeans. So no, cats and eggs.
Wow. Welcome to the Screw.
Hello, folks. What's going on? You look pretty.
Thanks. I got photos taken with my doggy today.
Aww. Was he well behaved?
No, but yes, if that makes sense. So the photographer said, he promised me that there were many other photo shoots that took much longer to only get like 5 photos, and apparently we did a great job, but like that beginning was rough because I don't think, like, my dog's pretty smart when it comes to, I set up the tripod and I hold him in my arms. He knows to look at the frickin' camera. Like, I have so many photos holding him. But in this space and situation, because most of the, like, 90% of the photos are just of him and they're not of the both of us. So he didn't understand what was going on. So the photographer had to do a lot of work too. So I was like beside him trying to get him to like be in the right position, and the photographer is trying to get him to look at him. It was a whole thing. He kept jumping up, jumping down, jumping. I was like, I got a whole workout today. But yeah, it was good. And I'll see what they look like next week. I'm excited.
Yay! What made you want to do this?
They were offering a deal online where it was basically like you don't pay for the photo shoot, which normally I think it's very expensive because they do not give you digital prints. This is not that kind of a thing. The whole point of this is they want all of their photos displayed as artwork. So they print them and they put them on a canvas. It's like a whole thing. So
cool.
They were doing this. Yeah, they were doing this deal like we're looking for dogs for a future art gallery showing. And how we are going to potentially get those photos for that art gallery showing is we are going to offer you pay a deposit of $100 and come in for the session, and we will give you $1,000 credit toward printing out the artwork of the photos. But their photos are about $500 to $1,000 a piece, anyways, because of how they print it. So the $1,000 credit gets me one singular photo, or I can get a couple different things that they offer, but put the $1,000 credit toward the other things. So I was looking, they showed me like their photo book, quote unquote. And it's basically just 20 photos that are in that same, they're high quality, like matte, blah, 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 they're put on like a photo mat, etc. And that is like $2,500. It's $3,500, but because I have $1,000 credit, and you can do a payment plan.
So nice.
I cannot afford this, and I'm hoping I hate all of them except for one photo. But I mean, I'm not hoping that because truly, like, I would love to get a bunch of photos. But at the same time, I'm like, damn, like I really should have read a little further into their pricing.
I love how much you love photos. Why do you love photos so much?
I don't know. I am absolutely obsessed with capturing memories, and the way that they do their photos, they're like really, there's a bunch of like really regal shots, and I got to put him in these like fluffy, lacy like collar things, and he's on like a velvet couch. It's so campy and gay and cute. I love this for my future mansion. I need to fucking have 20 photos of my dog in like a fucking ruffle collar, and goddamn, like I wore a royal blue dress and put him in a matching royal blue bandana. So fucking good. The guy was like, okay, what do you want to do? Like, what do you envision for blah, blah, blah? And I was like, okay, can we drag that huge, long red velvet couch out and I'll lay across it and he could be like on top of me, like I'm like the queen bitch. And he was like, yeah. And we did that. was like, I've never done this before, this
Oh my
specific
god.
idea. And I was like, great, wonderful. Because
Oh, I love
he
it.
was like, he goes, the photographer goes, do you model? Like, have you modeled before? And I'm like, no, I just have to take photos of myself like all day for my job. I didn't continue the convo, but I think he understood what I was saying. But it was really funny, like, and I also know my good side, so like, you know. Blah blah blah. I had a great day with my fucking dog. We drove an hour and a half to get there and back, and it was
That's
ridiculous.
amazing.
I
Aw.
hope you get selected for the art show. Oh my god. I'm gonna show up in the same dress and heels and just be like, yeah,
You're gonna be like a stage mom.
that's my baby. Well, they send you a ticket if you get into the show.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow, I don't even know how to follow up anything with that. Like, at
I'll
all.
just say this. I've had what, like 9 pets over the course of my life, and I do not have my friend Yuritsa took professional photos of me and Burger, and I
Mm,
don't even know where those are like located on they're on a computer somewhere, I'm sure. But you know, aside from that, I don't have a lot of like really high resolution good shots of me and my
yeah,
animals. And this was an opportunity for me to like do something different and try it. And you know, again, worst comes to worst, I not lost, but I paid $100 for one really sick fucking canvas photo for my wall.
that's awesome.
So
I love that idea of a
you know,
canvas photo. It's so like,
yeah, it's so I gotta show you. These are fucking
yeah,
sick. They look like
that's
paintings.
awesome.
Like they're so high quality.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I was in the studio and they had a bunch on the wall, like huge. And I was like, oh my God, that's probably like $70,000, but I want that.
Oh man, that's beautiful. I want to like get like
It
start
is.
amassing like a really like amazing collection of like erotic queer art, like for when if I ever get like a domicile that is mine again and not a
Yeah.
glorified dorm room, but you know.
A whole, like, I want one of the rooms that I have because I know I can like envision how ridiculous I'm gonna be living at some point in my life. And I want one of the rooms just to be like all nudes of my friends that want to submit photos to me. Just, like frame them or like Polaroids or whatever. Like, do you want your butthole on my wall?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
There
No,
it is, framed.
I love that idea. I love that idea. It's almost like being at a nudist colony without having to interact with anyone.
There you go. You can just step back and appreciate
Have you ever
the fine art.
like thought about a naturist retreat or been to a nude beach before?
I don't like being nude. So
No.
fuck no. But I've been to the nude beach with you. Remember?
Oh, that's a
We,
good
we
point.
went to Jacob Reese together.
Well, it's not officially a nude beach. It just ends up a nude beach.
No, it is officially a nude
Is it?
beach. That one section is officially allowed to be nude. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's amazing. I love that.
I might be lying. Sometimes I just lie
There's-
for funsies. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
There's apparently a nude beach on Lake Tahoe. And like I was kind of trying to like read and understand, you know, because like when there are these official nude beaches, there's often like a section of that official nude beach that's considered like the queer section versus like the non-queer section. And I love it because like you read it and it's like, well, the queer people tend to like do it over or among this like rock formation, you know, so like and I like thinking to myself,
Why are the fags always put on the rocks?
Well-
I don't understand. Shouldn't we be on the sticks?
ooh, she quick today. Okay. No, like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, like, this has to be a lot about, like, being able to have cover to, like, fuck around and stuff. Even though, you know, like, they all
Yeah.
say, no naughty things should be happening at this beach. It's a family-friendly nude beach. I'm like, I'm all about nudism and naturalism and all that, but, like, I don't have anywhere in my head a plan to, like, go family nude, like, sunbathing. Like, and not, you like, look, I get it. You know, it's a whole lifestyle, and I certainly believe in like, you know, body positivity and all that stuff. But like, I never would have wanted to go to the nude beach with my parents. Like, so I'm just gonna like hold that tradition should I ever have children. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
remember that.
again, we've talked about nudity and like, you know, geographically and culturally and all
Yeah.
that. There's like different shit with it. And you know what? I probably would be speaking a different singing a different tune, if you will. If I were say, I don't know, French or French can who's the nudists always at the main beaches? Is that French
I think
Canadians?
the French are
Anyways,
yeah.
I might be completely without issue, but I'll say this. My family, the women when my mom lived on her own, the women in my family were very free about their
Yeah.
nudity, and I never was. I never fucking was. It
Mm.
just never. I was never comfortable. I'm still not comfortable, even though no, I'm just not. I'm not comfortable being completely
You
nude,
recognize the
and
irony in what you're saying, yeah.
I absolutely do. But comfortable, and that's even with a very so my point is that I don't know if I were in a different place and time and culture and whatever creates the freedom of the nudity. I don't know if I would be. I'd be the weirdo in my family that keeps the tank top on.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, they'd be like, "Why don't you just take it off?" And I'd be like,
I mean that's the reality. We don't grow up in like a overly sex positive or comfort culture in general. Even if your family did, you're still going to be kind of like dealing with the influences of like the rest of society. Can you imagine telling your parents that you went to the nude beach, or your friends on the playground? I went to the nude beach with my parents last weekend. Like, it may be nothing to you, but like your friends are gonna be like, say what?
Yeah.
And we don't live in that world, you know? And you know,
Yeah.
Adam and Eve put the fig leaves on their privates, and that's pretty much what we've been going off of ever since, you know? If you believe.
Yeah, I want a lot of figs. I want a lot of fig leaves. Just give me the whole damn tree.
Oh, seriously. So I loved our activity of like going through porn last week, and it made me think like actually how little porn I've actually seen. Like, I can't believe it. So what I did was I signed up to view my first like OnlyFans person. I've never
Fun.
done it before. So, and like I picked this person not
I like how you worded that.
yeah.
I signed up to view. It's called subscribe.
Oh, right. I'm still learning the lingo, okay?
I paid a price to log in and then view.
Right. And and I thought, oh, you know, because like let me be all avant-garde about it. So like, you know how everybody is using like Instagram and whatever to like promote, not promote like their stuff like on these platforms. And so, and I'm only convinced that all these people enter into my feed because of you. It's like I'm not putting in the search entry ever anything about any of this stuff, and like my algorithm is like on fire with it. So, which is fine, no hate, all love. But so what?
I mean, all it takes is literally like watching somebody's reel for more than 5
Right.
seconds, and now they're in your
Right.
now that topic is
Yeah,
your
no,
audience.
and I'm gonna mention something about that as well in a second because yeah. But so I decided to pick this dude who came into my feed who is like a painter, right? And he paints out in the middle of this like jungle forest cabin, and like, you know, but while he's painting, he's like wearing very bulgy underwear, or like there's always a hint that like something's going on. And so like I was like, oh, I can't imagine what like this OnlyFans account looks like, because part of me in the head is like, I get that people do like shticks, you know, but this guy is obviously a painter. So I'm like, well, what the hell? Like, there's so little things I'm curious about from most of those accounts. No offense to any of the creators, but like, it's not, again, going back to the porn thing,
It's not your
right.
thing, yeah.
So, I sign up and realize, like, it is a little of both. It's like, obviously when you're seeing somebody do this in a very like teasing way, and then all of a sudden you see them like, doing a jerk off scene or, saying something filthy.
It's a little jarring, I find.
It is. It's like, okay,
Like I was just watching you make orange juice. This is different than that.
Exactly. And I thought, wow, isn't this like kind of one of the fascinating aspects of this, like, I don't know, field or genre of like modern pornography, if you will, or whatever, is that it's like the next level amateur stuff. Like, it's like, even in like the old days, just in amateur porn, like, okay, maybe it's somebody and it's amateur, but like the whole thing is sex, right? In this, you have like this like teetering between like somebody who is doing things on their Instagram and their normal everyday world, but maybe in a little bit of a thoughty way, but like then there's this whole other aspect of them that like you're like getting let in on, so it's like it's definitely unusual. I haven't decided if it's quote unquote for me yet or not, but like, I see the hustle and I'm like, I was happy, and obviously I know a lot about the hustle from you, but I was like curious to observe it like in, a rando who is like really trying to hustle and do this. And, I didn't pay attention to any like follower account they had or anything, but I did find it like kind of fascinating on some level. Yeah, I mean,
I like that.
I think it is like kind of a little abrupt though, and I always wonder if there are ways like for some of these things to evolve or me like, instead of like people like posting videos like in like this is my latest video, some sort of like timeline that builds up or something. Because you go from no dick to dick in like 2.5 seconds. Like, I guess I'm a whore for like the build up, the mystery, the kind of like slow reveal,
Well, you could always order a custom of them edging
try that
toward the painting with the dick or whatever they do their shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm a cheapskate, so I did kind of pick a something that I could afford with my survey junkie dollars. So.
You're not a cheapskate, for the record. If you had the money, you would spend it on food.
Right.
You're poor.
That's the word I was looking for. Okay, so
We don't want people to think you're willing to pay the workers. You've always been willing to pay sex workers. It's a matter of having money to pay.
Made some like reference to like I promised to tip at some point, but not this week. So these algorithms are crazy, right? And like I know I'm like looking up all these like controversies about how is it that I can like be talking about something with my friend and like not on my phone, and all of a sudden I open my phone and it seems like it's selling me something that has to do with what I was just talking about. Right. And it happens all the time. And I've checked my security settings 1,000 times. Fuck you, Meta. It's not on my end. It's something like heinous that you're doing on your end. But like, to make sure there's no passive data collection, right? Like, again, if you click on something, that puts you in an algorithm. But like what I'm finding now is also and I feel like it has something to do with like maybe like your internet connection. I have no idea like how it's happening. It's like I'll search for like a destination on my laptop and my phone is all of a sudden selling me like 1,000,000 trips to that location,
I think it might be IP related.
That's what I'm thinking. And like, I keep looking it up. But anyways, there's a funnier part of this. So, I don't know. I must have been talking about like, oh, is like asshole rejuvenation surgery a thing? Right? No, just because it totally is, and people are using injecting Botox down there too. But and I'm not saying I need my asshole rejuvenated, but like the curiosity about the subject. And so now I've been getting like these advertisements for this like really interesting product called Asset. And I would say this is why it's interesting. And now, like, because I clicked on it and looked at it, I get it like 100 million times a day, which is kind of okay with them because they have like an insane advertising campaign. Every time they come up, it is a different advertisement. Like somebody put some fucking thought into this, and it's funny, right? Like so, it has this one thing where it has two donuts, and one of them is like really burnt, and one of them looks like a fresh glazed new donut. And like then their advertisement is like, just just apply a few days. And I love that because they don't skirt away from being like there's no confusion about what this product is for. And it's like because they'll say right in it like. If you want your hole to feel like this, like there's one where it's like a dried ass, there's a hole in the ground and a dry desert looking thing, and then there's a hole in the ground with like nice luscious green grass all around it.
I absolutely love the ridiculousness with which these advertisements have gotten. And I realize that it basically like they could show whatever. Like I have advertisements on my Facebook of like literotica stories that literally talk about incest. And it's literally the words written on like a picture of a forest. And I'm like, this is, and it's like, and then my brother ate my pussy. I'm like, what the fuck? So my point being, if advertisements can be as ridiculous as that, but then they go out of their way to make it into some kind of like, metaphor thing. I think that's so cute and funny, and people are getting so creative.
And I think
I'm
it's
actually very impressed.
If I remember from the first time I looked at it, like just this nerdy looking doctor guy who is like, really like not being explicit, but being like talking about like, are you insecure about your hole? Like the use of the word hole is like such a like, and it's called Asset, so it's hilarious. And like, I read the ingredients.
I love that.
Because like I'm always like when I see these things, I'm like, is this something people are going to use and all of a sudden have like a twin growing out of their butthole or something? Like just to it. But they're very responsible. There's disclaimers that like because it is a sensitive area, like, hey, please, if you're experiencing something like more than what we're talking about, which is really just like keep it healthy, keep it fresh, keep it like elastic, keep it like like unswollen and things like that. I mean, like their ads are hilarious because like my whole thing is like there's a bunch of people shooting botulism in their asshole now, and like I don't know. I say botulism because that's what Botox is derived from. But like, I know it's not like live like botulism, but it's weird, and I don't want to shoot anything in my asshole. Should I ever need this product?
Yeah. I mean, I need the product, but I also need Botox other places. So like. I guess I should start with like my
Work your way down.
head and work my way down. So wait, hold on. My question is, do you have to keep getting it like you do for wrinkles, or is this like
that is
one
a good
and done?
question. I think so. What?
It has to be a regular
like, the first advertisement, make it like one of the advertisements says, you're missing something from your skincare routine.
Oh God. I want to get it just to support them because
that's
this
why
is very
like, I hate advertisements. I hate like my phone constantly trying to sell me crap. But like every once in a while you see something and you're like, I have to respect like in the Mad Men era kind of way, the creativity that like is going into like not just the advertising, but like how it's targeting people in this modern social media kind of world, so it's fascinating.
This just makes me want to figure out better marketing
totally.
for my shit because like
Exactly.
I see the
And I mean,
possibilities.
I always think, the practicality, because I know we have a lot of people that are like online creators and stuff. Like, how does, you know, we could all do better if we spent 20 hours working on like an archive of shit like to put out there, right? Like I'm sure, not to put down the advertising community, but like lots of people have really good ideas about how to like push something where we know what people like. We can, kind of try to apply it, but I don't know. There's some dedication. It would be much nicer to have a marketing team do it for you than to do it yourself.
Yeah, and I will say that like the you know there's nothing worse than having great ideas and not being able to
Sure.
actually get those ideas seen because your account got dinged one time
Right.
for somebody reporting it, or you accidentally
Yeah.
didn't follow one rule or perceived to have not followed the rule, and then they dinged your account. Like my account hasn't been
Shadow.
what they call, yeah, but like so like Instagram, for example, it's either you're an account that gets recommended to the public or not. And I haven't been a recommended account for so long, even though I've gone through and tried to like delete as much as I
Right.
can. That might be dinging it, all that. They don't even like tell you. Like Facebook will tell you like, hey, these 6 posts are making us say fuck you and not letting you be
Gotcha.
advertised to
Gotcha.
like strangers. So, or even your followers sometimes they don't even put it in their algorithm because you've been dinged. So, as much as like I want to do more marketing that I know would work
Sure.
and all that, it's so disheartening because you never fucking know when you're going to be
Yeah.
an account that just gets in trouble.
No, it's
Essentially,
true. It's
so
true. I mean,
frustrating.
and maybe there does need to be a better community that isn't just like, we need something a little bit more progressive, and that maybe is like 18 plus only kind of world. It's if it's so true that the social media stuff is so detrimental to the youth, then like knock them off it, and then you don't have to worry about this like adult content crap all the time. No, I get it. They're great little
Well,
consumers. They see something. The theory being, they're great little consumers. They see something. They tell mommy and daddy they want it, and then now they have it. And like the marketing scheme has been complete. Like it's just like I said the other day. Why is there advertising during like shows like Dora and Teletubbies? These kids don't buy anything, and their parents are often sticking them right there with like to watch it, right? Without them. So the parents aren't seeing the advertising either. So they have to be relying on the kid going, hey, I want that one. Which seems really nice on some kind of level, but I get that that's, the world we live in, things and stuff.
listen, the fact that TikTok, I don't know if they've changed it, but like there's this one person that I follow that exposes creeps online, and as like one of the things he does. And he'll just show, like he'll blur out the image, but basically show like what it is. It'll be like a very just chill, innocent photo of like a kid enjoying like
Right.
playing ball outside, and it'll have like, I'm talking like a 9-year-old, okay? Whether
Right.
it's on a mom's account or their account, whatever. And then it'll have like 52 comments of older
Ugh.
men hard eyesing it and going, can't wait for you to get a little older.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
shit like that. Just straight up, some of them with their government ass name just hitting on like 10-year-olds. And if you look at the amount of accounts that do that and like the lack of
Moderation.
that being
Yeah.
banned or worried about, meanwhile, people will mark their accounts as adult content, shake their butt
Yeah.
in leggings and
No,
it's absolutely ridiculous. It's all about making sure that children are consumers and that we brainwash them young so that they can go on to, buy their shit as they get older. And the problem is that in the meantime, we're just turning a blind eye to
Yeah,
the amount
totally.
of predators that are
Totally.
going after them. It's disgusting.
Exactly. So like
Disgusting.
they've like banned X in Brazil. So like, which is a huge market, you know, like 28 million, I think it said, like users, you know, just because they won't like comply with anything, right? You know, they won't do what that like country wants to protect its people. And I think that's really fucked up, you know? It's
Right.
like the US has a lot of protection, you know, for these companies that end up being like intermediaries for like really heinous activities. And now I get it, but there's a law protecting them in the US that literally states that like they are not responsible for the people on their platform and what they're putting out there. And that's fucked up, you know? And so like, you know, countries that are
Yeah.
trying to go after these people that don't have those laws, you know, are finding it challenging with like how big the user market is here. These companies feel very entitled not to protect people. What a weird entitlement, not to protect anyone. Like in the name of money. I always say, like, watch how people's morals change when we make it a matter of like free market discussions. You know, you if you want to really keep children and other people from getting hurt, you do something about it. You don't play this game like we're gonna try to catch them for something else, something that like isn't directly this, or you know, like what? Like why isn't it enough to keep kids from going insane in
No
school?
shit.
Like with the depression rates, the suicide rates, like come on. But yeah,
I know. I mean, you know, capitalism doesn't give a shit about your children, and neither does
sure
anything
doesn't.
else.
Fucked up.
You know,
Yeah.
sure
So
don't, sure
somebody should
don't.
like create like more adults only social media networks anyway. Just like stop making it so difficult. We know like users want it because they are dialing in. You know, we know that like it's becoming an economy for people. And oftentimes that's what I feel like the issue is. Like nobody wants other people to like be taking some of the profit share, you know? Anyways, conspiracy theories, I'm high. But,
Yeah.
you know, so fuck that.
Our phones are listening to us, and nobody gives a shit about your
Right.
kids. You gotta
Yeah.
do it for
You know,
yourself.
and it's always like this thing where, like, you know, when I imagine I have kids, because, you know, you get told by parents a lot, and this is no diss, I'm sure people believe this, that, like, what am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. There's so much social pressure to either let them do this or do this that way or give them a phone by the time they're 12 years old, you know. And I understand. I've told you before. I hate Bill Maher, but that he complains about that kind of shit, and like I get it. You know, he just doesn't contextualize it on the right people. But you know, I get it because like there is something about not being able to tell kids no, but also being able to explain to them it's for their own safety or that's whatever. And you can hate me today, but when you don't end up like on Prozac by the time you're 14, maybe you'll thank me for it.
So I actually met an 11-year-old the other day that went on to they clearly like gravitated toward me. I think it was because I told them I understood they were talking about something about their ADHD, and I was like, oh, I totally get that because and then
Sure.
gave some anecdote, and so they instantly were like, oh, you're the youngest person in the room, and you also have this thing that I
Right.
have. Okay, I'm gonna chat your ear off, and they did, and they were telling me all about their life and blah 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 and the things that they like, and then they mentioned this TV show which I cannot fucking remember the name off the top of my head, but I will find it for later. And they said it's they literally describe it as it's a show for adults, and I really shouldn't be watching it, but there was only one episode that was 18 plus technically, and that's only because one of the characters is dating a porn star. And yeah, so like I was like, oh, interesting. I was like, do your parents like watch it with you? And she was like, yeah, my parents have seen it. They don't love that part of it. Like, she's very articulate, well spoken. She's like, they don't love that part of it, but they also are okay with me watching it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then today I saw her with her parents, and she brings up the show again. She goes, oh, did you have a chance to see it? And I was like, no, I've been super, super busy, but I definitely will give it a watch because it sounds interesting. And then her dad goes, yeah, he goes, it's not great for children. And I was like, yeah, I heard. And then she comes up and she goes, yeah, well, the 18 plus episode is, and then she tells me, she mentions the porn star thing again. And he says, yeah, there's like a questionable career in there. And then gives me a look.
And he knows,
I
does
he
knows that?
Yes. And he was just like, he gave me this look, like almost like this, like silly, like,
Yeah.
Like nod kind of look. But it was just a funny, and my point of all of that was that I cannot recall if I knew even what a fucking porn star was at 11 years old. Did I know that information? I don't know.
I remember I got in trouble once. I was riding on my bike with my best friend, and this was in California, and and this is how I know, like, I like, when I first learned what porn was. So we were riding, and I was talking about, wouldn't it be cool someday to live in a penthouse? And we happened to drive by his father, and his father thought I was talking to him about Penthouse, like the porn magazine. And so he like talked to my parents. It was like a big like hurrah. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And so my mom had to explain to me that it was an adult magazine, blah 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 blah. I mean, I certainly knew what sex was, but like I wasn't aware, that there was this particularly.
I love that parent accidentally taught you something because
I mean, it was he never believed me funny. Because like you never believe, like, I guess, I don't know,
a
like,
child's right.
And,
but really this guy was just like, not that you're stupid for not knowing a word.
I will say this for the most part, like in my childhood, like my mom was pretty good at like defending. She was like, it doesn't make sense for him not to admit that that's what he was talking about. We don't like do like the sex shame thing in this household. So if that's what he was talking about, he would have told me. Like when I talked to him about it, he didn't understand what the hell it was. Telling of this guy, like, what, you got Penthouse magazine, because it became a whole thing, like, do they have like Penthouse magazines in the house? Like, why do I know about this? And my mom was like, no, we watch videos.
Right. Penthouse isn't even the good one, it's club, bitch.
So, look, I think, to answer your point, I don't think I knew what a porn star was, until about that age. But like, I do think it starts slipping out, and that's probably in the general age arc that we do start, whether on the playground or whatever. I mean, I would certainly later hear about it and feel good that I knew what it was, in that fucked up way.
I didn't want to ask this, but I was curious, and I might ask like her parent later in life, but I was curious, like, did she learn what that word was because of the show, or did she know the word first? Because if you learn it from a TV show, that's not as jarring as if like you heard it on the playground, like that's, I don't know. I'll say this. I knew what that stuff was.
Yeah.
By probably like 12, because the Spice Channel and shit like that you like accidentally run into at a friend's house or whatever. But I don't know if I knew the terminology for it. So that's the biggest question.
I will say this. I knew what a prostitute was from a much younger age.
Oh, yeah. Because your parents, our parents drive down the street and shame the girls.
This is probably a predominant reason why I'm queer. But we used to watch like Best Little Whorehouse in Texas for Christmas with Dolly Parton and Buttholes, and it's a musical.
That's true. There's a lot of like There's a lot of brothel
there is.
stuff in media,
There
so
is.
that's
I mean,
probably where you learn it from at a young age, because it's typically not marked 18
right,
plus. Just
right.
because of
Like you either explain. I mean, maybe I didn't like entirely understand the mechanics of it, but like, you
Sure.
know, I remember like everybody's sad when the whorehouse closed down. Like, why are they sad? Let's sing a song. I don't know. Because it's a fucking musical.
Oh
It's
my
not
god,
a
that's
song.
actually quite funny.
Our dear listeners.
So funny little tidbit. Penthouse was the first reoccurring thing that reoccurring. Yeah, I guess the first reoccurring purchase that I made to support sex work. I had when I was 16, I went to the sex shop for the first time and I purchased porn and I got my friend a fleshlight for his 21st birthday and
They have
and like I would go
flashlights
back
already when you're
regularly and buy
16?
porn like
Wow, those things have been out.
yeah. I'm yeah. So I had been purchasing like
Huh.
porn on DVD for a while. However, I had my first subscription to porn at 18 years old, and it was my Penthouse subscription. It came to my
Ooh.
dorm monthly,
Was it in like a manila envelope
and
and
that
stuff?
was
Like
it was in a
like
black
plastic. Okay, yeah.
plastic covering with just my like address on it. So yeah, it's funny that we were talking about Penthouse because that was like I have a fond feeling for Penthouse because I used to purchase I had a subscription to
I
it
mean,
for a while. That was like my first subscription to anything. That's so funny. I was
the first
18.
time
I thought it was so
that
cute.
is cute. The first time I finally saw a porn magazine was like how old was I? I think I was like 14, 15. And like somebody had like nabs. I think it was Hustler. And like and you know, talking about going from like 0 to 100, right? And like I remember thinking, you know, but it's kind of boring, you know. Like again, something that like the most entertaining part of it for me was the stories, like you know, not the articles, the stories, like the erotic, like you know, all these things have like one or two erotic stories embedded in them. But like now we're in the era, I realize like it's kind of post like I can't imagine like the circulation for any of these things is what they used to be. You know, and that
Yeah, but I feel like there's enough of the older
right.
generation still kicking about that's like into the tangibles. Yeah, and also the stories were
So
one of my
good.
favorites for Penthouse,
So good.
Playboy, Club,
I bought
Hustler. Yeah. Just even the questions and answers, there would be like Q&A. There would be all sorts of different sections where I was like, this is what I'm here.
totally.
I'm here to read
Like
it.
we were somewhere and we got a porn that was in I think it a porn magazine that I think it was in German. And I don't know if you know this, but now Google Translate has this feature. If you hold your phone over something written in another language, it like it doesn't just translate it, it changes the image words. So the image words are in English. So I like read it.
That's weird. That's weird. That's weird. I don't like it. That's weird. Technology is too far. Too fast.
But it does help you read porn. Like now, I have to dig out some like porn magazines I bought in like France a few years ago, and like try. Yeah, you buy like because me like I don't know. I'm not gonna get like a little Eiffel Tower Trotsky. Like I was like, oh, I'm in a foreign land for the first time. Let me get a porn magazine, and that'll be my what do you call it? Your what do you call it when you buy something to remember a place? Memento.
Memento? Keepsake.
Yeah.
A keepsake?
Yeah.
A tchotchke. A pichator?
Those things.
There's lots of
So,
words for that.
yeah. Wow, we've really covered a lot.
I actually cannot tell you one thing we spoke about
Yeah.
because I am also
Kitten.
cooked kitten.
Yeah, it's delicious.
It's good.
We should really come up with like a weed brand. I need to like figure out this like stuff differently going forward.
Yeah, I mean, let's buy some
Yeah,
land and
yeah,
sell some
totally.
weed.
I have a pretty green thumb. I think I could do it. And then you could have animals, and we could just have like,
Animals and weed sounds like
right?
good fucking life, man. And I'm not even
Yeah,
I'm not
but
even like a
like,
big weed head anymore, but like I like the energy around it. Like I want a bunch of hippie stoners working our weed land
yeah,
while I take care of the
totally,
pets,
totally. I,
milk some cows,
yeah,
make
yeah,
some
yeah.
cheese.
Too.
Nah, maybe not. I don't know. I feel like milking cows would make me sad because I feel bad for that.
Like,
Maybe we'll just have
eggs are
eggs.
cool.
Eggs are
Eggs are
cool.
cool. Yeah,
Okay.
beautiful. So,
This is the most disappointed episode ever.
veteran, go to Felicia's OnlyFans page.
Every single episode, we just ask for money, and not one person has ever. Singular person has ever been like, "Yo, here's $5,000. Go buy
Yeah.
yourselves something nice."
No,
Nobody. But that's okay.
we're
'Cause
never
we're
gonna
never
stop
gonna
recording. Maybe not
so
even this
maybe
episode.
one day.
By the time we're done, we'll just
I think this episode is gonna go on forever. It's
Oh,
like the song that
Jesus.
never ends.
I had never heard that before, and then when I heard it, wow, I understood it. I,
Wow, what a concept. I never heard that before, but when I heard
what
it,
can I tell you?
fuck. Usually that's what happens. There's usually a
Okay,
before you
smartass.
experience
Yep,
a thing and then an
Yeah,
after.
let's see how you handle my Alzheimer's, okay? That's what I want. I want everybody to handle like my aging in a really funny way. There should be jokes all the time, cause like I'm not running from that shit. Like
Oh my god. Shut up. You act like you're
I'm
fucking
pushing
92
50,
years
yo.
old.
How crazy is that? No, but it's
Who
fascinating.
cares? You're sharper than you've ever been. Like you're annoying. You age backwards. It's stupid. And I don't want to hear a goddamn
Okay,
word
okay,
about
good.
it, honestly.
I'm gonna be 50 and I look like I'm
Oh,
25
gosh.
and I act like I'm 14.
And my brain has enough memory space. Like, what? I stopped remembering things when I was 23 years old. You're like, hey, Felicia, remember that thing you did last week?
I
I'm like,
mean,
no, I don't. But you do because
bless
you
her heart.
remember.
I think I have a very strong, like, short-term memory, which is surprising considering all the marijuana use. But like,
Yeah. Do you do
no,
like ginkgo
no, I
biloba or
think a lot.
something? Like, what do you do? What's your secret?
But you know what happens now is like, and it's not so much like my memory's not getting like worse, but like the timeline of your life starts feeling like there are so many years. If you told me something, I'd be like, I remember that, but don't ask me how old I was, what year it was. Like, I'm gonna have like no idea because it just becomes this like vast archive of
That's fair.
information, and you gotta let go of details sometimes. It's like you gotta make space for new crap. You know, it's the way it goes.
That's how shit
Why
usually
are you
works. You gotta
holding?
make space for more.
Oh,
Aww.
my hamster.
Toy. It's a toy, not a real hamster. It's a cheeseburger hamster, and since my old dog was
It's so
Burger, I thought it
cute.
was
It's
perfect.
adorable.
Yeah, I have to sleep with a stuffed animal, so I
I
like
know
bring one
somebody like that as
on the
well.
road. Yeah, you do.
Anyways, I'm obsessed. So yeah, I love it. It's great. It's wonderful. I think we're done.
Are we
I
done?
mean,
This is
like,
over.
no,
Did
it
we
was
blow
less
our
about
load?
blowing the load as like, you know, I think I'm in college or something and have shit to do, but you know.
Ew! Oh my god, I can't even fathom doing anything else right now but falling asleep. so tired.
It
Oh yeah,
is,
but it's
it
2
is.
hours
Oh yeah,
earlier
that's right.
there,
It's
so
2 hours later there. We don't usually like speak this late.
I mean, it's only 10 p.m. though. So like, my name is Nona, and yeah. Speaking of aging, you have a whole decade on my ass, and I will forever be like, I'm going to
Yeah,
bed while
no.
you party till 4 a.m. And I don't remember anything, even though I sleep well.
I mean, I
And
have to analyze this need to be the last person standing all the time, but it's really just the way I am. You know, when I'm tired, I crash out. There's no finding me.
oh yeah, no, you don't. You never ever push yourself
Yeah.
past your tired point because you can't. You literally
I'm
just
expending
sulk.
all available energy.
I think right. I think maybe that's one of my things is like I have this fear of not being able to fall asleep because
Mm,
I'm not a good sleeper. So as soon as I feel a tinge of tired, that's it. Gotta go to bed.
the window.
Because
Oh my
what if I
God.
miss the window of sleep?
Totally.
Then I'm up
Totally.
all
I'm that way
night,
sometimes when I have to
you know?
poop, you know?
Yeah, sometimes you miss your window, man.
I love you so much.
Do you miss your window, man?
Man.
Or your window, man?
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm saying now, but you can edit out this
Maybe I
entire
will.
fucking
Maybe I will.
conversation. Well, everybody, it's been fucking real. Or has it been real fucking?
Not yet. Not yet.
That's not a saying, Felicia. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We're
We
the
love you.
Screw, and we love you. We also like to rejuvenate our buttholes. Bye.